Maswera sei muri Zimbabwe, welcome to our channel. Apa tinokupaina dzinenge dzichiitika matimana nyika yedu yeZimbabwe. Chingoti kana kari kutanga kukwira pane ino channel, please don't forget to subscribe. Kana uchingogara wakasubscribe, don't forget to comment and share this video. Chingoti vane Chamisa vanenge vabuditsa vachicriticize the political landscape, vachidescribe as a crisis yakatanga nekuda stolen mandate, which is the way iri kuitika nayo nzvino munyika yeZimbabwe. Chipo chekuti inyaya yekuti ma-elections akabirirwa muri Zimbabwe. Nyaya inoyabuditswa neRizimai vachitaura vachiti Nelson Chamisa has sharply criticized Zimbabwe's political landscape, describing the current situation as a crisis rooted in what he calls a stolen mandate. In a statement issued on Wednesday, the opposition figure did not hold back, accusing political leaders of clinging to power without legitimate electoral victory. A stolen mandate, when a politician calls elections toxic and demands more time in office, it usually means they never won one, Chamisa said. His remarks come at a time when tensions remain high over governance and constitutional debates in Zimbabwe. Analysts say Chamisa's statement reflects growing frustration among opposition voices who argue that democratic processes are being undermined. While Chamisa did not directly name individuals in his brief but pointed statement, the message was widely interpreted as a direct attack on the current administration and its handling of elections and governance. Political observers note that such strong language signals escalating rhetoric in Zimbabwe's already polarized political environment. Statements like these show just how deep the divisions have become, said one analyst. The question now is whether this leads to dialogue or further confrontation. Chamisa's comments are likely to intensify debate over legitimacy, electoral reforms, and the broader direction of the country, as Zimbabwe continues to grapple with political uncertainty and competing narratives over its democratic future. Ndomabuditsirwa aitwa nyaya yemhuri yeZimbabwe. Tingazive kuti munoona sei tudziwo zvamuri kufunga mu-comment section.
It's nice to see you here. You sound refreshed and very raring to go. And I love the topic that you're touching on. But I get sort of discouraged in some of the sentiments you say. I will say I'll forgive in that sometimes there's not enough room for you to expand on the things you say. But there's a danger that in that reductive way in which, of course, you are limited by time, there can be a misunderstanding. So I want clarity. The bill amendment number 3 touches something that you should be a godfather and a custodian to lead in that discourse. It's attempt to politicize chiefs who contribute a percentage into our governance and our judicial system. Now, having a historic context, that the chiefs that we already have are a political construct of the British South Africa Company and inherited till this day by successive administrators. How is it that you do not see the danger in this bill amendment for the current black government to be perpetuating the British South Africa Company model of saying the chiefs must act as native commissioners who are influenced by politics? Yet you are you conserve Tsika nemagariro, and you should be protectionist of that sacred part of our judicial system. Why is it that you are not taking that opportunity to speak of that bill being a danger, the continuation? Because one, you are admitting to us that you already have a problem with our constitution, our governance style, and our democratic system. Yet when that bill proposes to extend that arm of influence, which is dirty, which is politicized, which is Eurocentric, and all the other inheritance from Greek to Roman, and yet you are allowing this bill in its attempt to make chiefs political. Why are you not saying the bill is wrong? instead of it allowing this arm of politics, which is the dirty aspect that brings any judicial review that the courts in the customary courts are making, if they become political, they create precedents into our judicial system. Why are you not taking that opportunity as a cultural protectionist?
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Bishop Maponga, let us go to the second person, then you can respond to both of them.
Oh, okay.
All right, let us go to research. Research, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Wulu, for the excellent space. I've got 3 questions, just strictly. Number 1, it is environmental. Bishop Maponga said that people can use baobab trees to make clothes, but yet we know that baobab trees are non-renewable. Can we sustain 1 million people in Zimbabwe through baobab trees, or the baobab trees will become extinct? Because research has already shown that that is not a good way, because it can destroy these species that we need. So do you think those people who discovered it are wrong? Number 2, Bishop Maponga, the first ZANU-PF conference refused the 2030 agenda. And then the second ZANU-PF conference accepted that agenda. But later, we discovered that they added more components which were not discussed, like the inclusion of MPs, councillors, and the power of the chiefs. Is that democratic? Is that acceptable? That is why Mercy and other people are rejecting that it did not come from the ZANU-PF people. But that will lead to the next question, which Mercy talked about. You said that you don't agree with democracy. Therefore, are you not using a constitutional coup against democracy? Because our constitution states that we are a democratic country, but you are now refusing. So is it an admission that the constitution is correct, but you don't like it, so let's violate it? That is where we should go, like what Mercy said, that you don't agree on democracy, but our constitution said, let's agree on democracy. And then, are you not performing a constitutional coup on democracy? Why can't you go through the referendum for you to do that constitutional coup? And finally, Rutendo talked about assassination. What if you are heard, you are going to hear that tomorrow Rutendo is dead? Are you going to hold that view that Rutendo was wrong in trying to protect himself? Because the issue of life is personal. But already you are trying to tell Rutendo that don't talk about any threats that are coming true. So if Rutendo were told that